Flosstube. It's Carolyn Zook here with C Zook Stitch. Today is Saturday, August 24th, 2019. I'm happy to be back. 2 weeks, I think I said this last time, but 2 weeks is starting to feel like a really long time to go between videos. So I might be changing that sometime in the future. But welcome everyone. We've had a ton of new subscribers, so thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad you're here. I think we have fun on this channel, so I hope you enjoy it. And please subscribe. We're close to 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit 1,000, I'll be doing a giveaway. I have several things in the works for that giveaway. So stay tuned for that. I think we're about 70 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. So welcome everybody. So this Flosstube is somewhat special because it notes it's been about a year since I got back into cross stitching. Not a year since I started my channel. I started my channel on January 1 of 2019. And I remember that I got back into cross stitching this weekend a year ago because why? I had found Flosstube somehow in the depths of YouTube as it happens, and my father's birthday is on August 28th, and last year was his 70th birthday, so my brother and I were planning to go surprise him. He lives in Colorado. My brother lives in Texas. I live in Portland, Oregon. So my brother and I had planned us to fly into Colorado and surprise him for his 70th birthday. And for some reason, a few days before that trip, I got the urge to cross stitch again. Of course, I had given all my cross stitch stuff away. I had cross stitched, I don't know, junior high, high school, maybe a little bit after college. I'd given it all away because that was in the 90s and I just didn't see myself cross stitching. Well, things have changed a lot, as you know, since the 90s with cross stitching. So I just got this urge. I have to cross stitch and it has to be right now. So I quick one on Amazon and I ordered a kit that comes with everything you need to cross stitch. And I took that kit with me to Colorado and I got a lot done on it. So this is actually the kit that I ordered. This is a cross decor cross stitch kit. Came with the fabric and all the threads. It's called A Christmas Celebration. It's a full coverage. And I wrote on here, picture is 17 1/8 inches wide by 12 5/8 inches tall. So, you know, for the first project. And I just want to show, I have not worked on it since that weekend essentially, but this is how much I got done. I just worked on it. That's what I did. So I'm up in here and you can see that cross of that church is just coming through. So you can see the cross is right here. So that was how I got back into cross stitch. And, you know, from there I started 2 sals, the Tiny Modernist Haunted Mansion sal, which I also haven't worked on since last year, and the Santa's House sal, also by Tiny Modernist, yes. And I've just been going ever since. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I actually haven't picked up my knitting. So I've knit for maybe 20 years or so. I haven't picked it up since I started cross stitching, which probably should change pretty soon. Not that I think I'll forget how to knit, but anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that it's been about a year since I got back into cross stitch, and I'm really excited about that. So I've had some questions in the last set of comments on my last video that I'd like to answer, because I think if one person has the question, probably others have similar questions. I'm just going to say I'm not great with checking the comments. I always read them. I will get to them. It might be a week or so before I answer. And it's not because, it's just because I have to go into a separate account. So I have my personal YouTube and then I have this YouTube. So I will get to it. I will definitely answer all the comments that I see. If I've missed yours, please ask your question again or point it out to me, because I want to make sure that I answer all the questions, because I do appreciate you spending the time to watch my videos, but also to comment. And I love the conversations that we have going back and forth. I remember when I first started my YouTube or my Flosstube video that I had heard other floss tubers talk about kind of the regular commenters and how do they remember all those names, but I know the regular commenters and whatnot, and it's just a really lovely community that we have here. So thank you for being a part of the Flosstube community. The first question comes from Beverly, who's from Gary's Only Gal is her name, her YouTube name. So Beverly, thank you for commenting. Beverly, you had asked, where can you buy pre-gridded fabric? In my last video, I was probably talking about buying pre-gridded fabric for an upcoming sale that I'm doing with Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates called Farewell to Anger. And I will talk a little more about pre-gridded fabric in the haul section. You can buy it. I know Heaven and Earth Design sells it. They have a variety of counts of pre-gridded fabric that you can purchase in a variety of types of pre-gridded fabric. So if you go on heavenearthdesigns.com, I'll link it below, and just go to fabric and pre-gridded. I looked quickly on 123 Stitch. I didn't see it on there, so I'm not sure if there's other resources where you can buy pre-gridded fabric. If you know of any, please let me know below, and we can get that information to Beverly, and I can maybe create a list of shops that we can buy pre-gridded fabric on, especially if you're not in the U.S. So Heaven and Earth Designs is based in the U.S., actually in Astoria, Oregon, which is not very far from where I live. But if you are not in the U.S., are there other sources where you can get pre-gridded fabric from? So let me know, and we'll compile a list for Beverly and for who else might be interested in that information. And Beverly also asked, Beverly had a really good tip. It wasn't a question, it was a tip. So she had said that she ordered these Floss Keeps. So they're about $13 for a set of 20 on Amazon. I'll link it below. I talked about it before. I have been using these like crazy. And I really love them. And I think I'm going to order a second set because I've been kitting up a lot of things with these. So they're plastic, they're reusable, they're decent quality. I think you get 20 holes and you get 20 plastic. They're different colors. There's like 3 of each different color in the kit. This is just one I have pulled out. Now I had shown that I use these reusable stickers. You can peel them off. You can see this one is kind of, can you see? I don't know if you can see. Sometimes they start peeling up a little bit, so I'll put Scotch tape over them so they don't fall off. But you can see I put the color, the fabric, or the floss name and the symbol on them. And then when I am done with this project, I can just peel these off, and there leaves no residue, and reuse this for another project. So it's really nice and handy, and as long as you don't have this. This used to bother me when I first got back into cross stitch. This really bothered me, and it hasn't been bothering me as much anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why that's changed, but I really like the system. So Beverly said that she went on and she bought a set of these, and she said they came in a couple of days. Mine took a lot longer to get. I think mine actually came from China. So Beverly, I'm glad yours came in only a couple of days. I had to wait a couple of weeks, which is fine. This is not an essential necessity for living, right? So Beverly, I have my notes right here. I have a whole bunch of notes this time, guys. Whoops, there. It's gonna be a long video. So Beverly had said she bought these, and she knew she had these something similar to these little square stickers. She knew she had them somewhere. She looked and looked and looked, couldn't find them. So as a hack, what she did is she took a light piece of washi tape and just put it on here and just wrote in the floss color numbers. So that's another tip that I wanted to share with you. You could use masking tape, would probably work just fine. Painter's tape would work fine. So you don't feel like you have to have these little stickers. That's what I have. I have a bunch of them here. And they work. So anything that's removable. So washi tape would work well. Like I said, painter's tape, masking tape, or if you have the removable stickers. You might even be able to write directly on here in I don't know what a dry erase. Sometimes you can use permanent like Sharpie markers on it and use rubbing alcohol to take it off. I have not tried it, and I'm probably not going to try it, to be honest with you. This system works for me. So I just wanted to give that tip that, you look around your house. If you're going to order these, you don't need these special stickers or anything. I just got mine at the grocery store if you do want them. But you don't need them. Just look around your house. You'll have something there, I'm sure, that will work. So thank you, Beverly, for that tip. That was really helpful. The next question came from Linda. And Linda, I'm probably going to mispronounce your name. Fistola? Linda? So thank you for your questions, Linda. You had asked 2 questions. You said, can I show you how I grid? And I will show you how I grid. So I don't think this was the piece we were talking about last time, because I don't think I've shown this since my first floss tube. But do you see those grid lines on there? I put those in myself. The fabric that came with this kit for the Christmas celebration is just, it's just a plain Aida, white Aida, because it's full coverage, so it doesn't matter. But I put those grid lines in myself, and to do that, I use this fine, here, let's see. I have so much stuff on my desk. Fine point mark be gone. I'll try to find this on Amazon and leave a link below. It works. So this is a fabric marker that leaves those blue lines, and they're supposed to wash out. I haven't tried to wash them out, but they do wash out, and I think it can fade over time. The only thing I don't love about this is that even though the tip seems pretty thin, and I think it is called fine point, when you get down to the smaller fabric counts, it's quite thick, and so it makes it harder to grid on. And then, if you mess up, you have the pin marks on there, so you can tell there are places where I miscounted. So right in there, and I just had to draw the line, and that just kind of messes me up when I'm stitching. So I do 10 by 10 squares, but the trick is that you are marking on the holes. So when you do your mark, you mark on the holes, not on the threads, which is kind of counterintuitive. But there's lots of videos on YouTube that explain how to do that. Stitching Jewels has a good one. I'll try to remember to link it below. So I use that. The other method I've used, and I looked and I don't have any WIPs using this method, but I use the sulky thread. I don't know if you can see that. It's a very kind of springy thread, and you sew in the grid lines. Some people use fishing wire as well, and again, I'll link a video below that I used that showed me how to do this, and it's good as well. What I like about this thread versus just thread you might have in your stash is because it's silky, you can't pierce it when you're stitching. So when you go to pull out the grid lines after you're done stitching, they just pull right out, and you don't have to, because you can create a really big mess if you are piercing the grid line, so it makes it much harder to come out, and just creates a mess. So the sulky silver metal, and I'll link this below. I'm trying not to grid anymore just because it does take a lot of time. This method takes a lot of time. For some people, it's definitely worth it. I am trying it without and having variable success. But so this is the other method I use, and I'll link that video below. And then Linda, you also asked, can I use 18 or 28 count Aida for hoity-toity? And my answer is you can use whatever you want for hoity-toity. The long dog sow that we have coming up. I am using this, which is a Lugana 32 count in Silvery Moon. I have learned about myself that I just really like 32 count. I'm not sure why. It's my preferred count, and I do it over 2, which is equivalent to 16 count Aida. So if you don't want to use even weave or linen, that's perfectly fine. Just use the equivalent in Aida. So 32 count over 2 would be equivalent to a 16 count in Aida. What you would want to do is use an online cross-stitch fabric calculator to make sure you get a big enough piece. And if you are debating between different counts of fabric, you can see what the final size will be, and that will help you not only buy the correct size fabric, but also think about where you want to put the finished project in your home, and do you have enough space for it? So if you're doing 18 count over 1, what will that do for the size? So on the hoity-toity fabric, and I'm covering this up because there's a chart of the alphabet here, but on the hoity-toity fabric pattern at the very bottom, it doesn't really give a recommended fabric. It just says fabric of your choice. But it says if you're working on 16 count Aida or 32 count linen, which is what I'm going to use, the 32 count, the design will measure 12.31 inches wide and 17.63 inches high. Now that's the design. So you want to add 3 inches to each side, so 6 inches to each of those numbers for framing or finishing, however you want to finish it. Now, Linda, this part says if you're working on 18 count Aida, which is what you had asked about, or 36 count linen, which is the equivalent, your design is going to be smaller, right? Because it's a smaller count of fabric. So your design is going to be 10.94 inches wide, so essentially 11 inches wide by 15.5 inches high. Plus, again, make sure you add 6 inches to each of those numbers for your border to have room for framing. So really, you can do whatever you want. There's no rules. Whatever. The most important thing, I think, is picking a fabric or a count that you enjoy, that you are most comfortable with, because you'll want to enjoy stitching it, right? It doesn't make sense to spend all this time and money and energy into a big project like hoity-toity and hate the fabric that you're using. So pick whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Use that fabric calculator to help you decide, and I'll link it below. I use the Yarn Tree one. I think that's a really common one. So I hope, Linda, that answered your question. So thank you for asking those questions, and hopefully if others had similar questions, you got the answers you wanted. But do let me know if you need further clarification. Do let me know in the comments below. And now I have to remember where I pulled this out of. Pretty sure it was hoity-toity. Oh, okay. Moving on. So thank you for the questions. So WIPs. That's what I sighed about, actually, was this WIP. Cross Stitch Nation Sal is going on. Cross Stitch Nation, Heartstring Sampery. I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. Love the pattern. I am struggling big time with this piece. So I showed in my last video that I started in the center. I stitched this lady, got her all done, went to move the Q-snaps and realized I stitched her going the wrong direction on the fabric. So I wouldn't have enough space to finish the piece. And I decided, instead of ripping her out and starting over, that I would just use a different piece of fabric in my stash and make her a small. You had wonderful, wonderful ideas for fixing that. So thank you so much, both in Stitch Mania group, on my Instagram. My Instagram is czooksstitch, so go ahead and follow me there. And in the comment sections, most of you said, make it an ornament, make it a small pillow. EJ of EJ Creates of the Sunshine Stitchers suggested making making it a lid to a box and keeping my stitchy supplies in there. So wonderful ideas, and I'm definitely going to do something like that. I'm not ripping her out. I really love how she turned out. So what I did, I bought a big piece of fabric for the Farewell to Ingersoll. It's just a 25 count Lugana, non-gridded. Bought that, realized I actually want gridded fabric for that sow because it's a full coverage Heaven and Earth Designs. So that's fine. I can just repurpose that fabric for something else. And I decided, well, I already have the fabric. I might as well restart Cross Stitch Nation sow on that fabric. So here's the thing. I first did this 2/1. So 2 threads over 2 threads of floss over 1 hole. And I just didn't like it. And so I took that out. And I'm now doing 2/2. And I don't like it. My friend Sam says this piece is just cursed for me. And I think she's right, but I also think I need to get that out of my head. And it's not at all the pattern. It is not the pattern. It's completely 100% user error. The pattern is perfect. It's great. It's a lovely stitch. And when you hold it back here, it looks great. And there's nothing necessarily wrong. I'm just not enjoying it. I mean, you can see it's quite big. And that doesn't necessarily bother me. I don't know why I'm not enjoying it. I'm just really not. This is how far I got on the restart. And I'm thinking of restarting it again, either going back to 2/1. I know I should do 1/1, but I really like the full, I don't know, I like 2/1 because I like to loop start mostly because I'm too lazy to do the other way to start. So I don't know, you guys. So let me take these clips off and show you. This piece has been struggle for me. And I'm not, when you don't enjoy it, I'm sorry, it's very wrinkly. So this is how big it will be when it's done, save for the border. So that's quite big for this. I mean, that's much bigger than I thought. So my other thought was just reorder the fabric that I had because I was enjoying that fabric. That was the 32 count Silvery Moon that I'm also using for the long dog. So that's my cross stitch nation style. And I've only uploaded a couple of pictures because I put it away. I'm just so frustrated with it. And I don't know. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. If I'm going to restart it, trying to over one, or if I'm going to just buy the fabric that I want and see how that goes. So that's as far as I've gotten since we started August 1, which isn't very far, but I do have a lady done. So I guess that's great. So I put that aside again, and I finally got my fabric in for Stars Bright by Lindy Stitches. This is a pattern I'm making for a friend of mine who's getting married in January. And the quote is I can't remember whose quote it is, but it says, "We would be together and have our books, and at night be warm in our bed together with the windows open and the stars bright." And I just love the granny squares and all the different colors around it. So I was waiting to start on this till my fabric came in, which it did. And so I got a good start on this. Here, well, can you see it okay? So I have 3 squares done so far. And I'm just going to work around the border. I'm going to try to do the border first and then do the inside. I'm loving this. I'm loving the colors. The fabric is a 28 count casual. And it's in color mint by Picture This Plus. This is the called for fabric. It was out of stock. I think a lot of people were ordering it. So I had to wait a few weeks to get it from Stony Creek. But I got it and I have it started and I am really enjoying that. So that's what I'm doing while Cross Stitch Nation is in time out. So those are my whips. And I lied to you guys last time. I said I had no haul. We're going to do haul now. This is my Acorns and Threads bag. You can order them from Acorns and Threads, which is my local needlework shop. They are $12 and you can reuse them. They're made out of paper that's safe to get wet. It's the same paper that they use on the tag of your jeans, that little tag. It's the same stuff. So they're $12, and when you bring them into Acorns and Threads, you get $5 on your card. Every time you spend so much money, you get punches on a card, and I don't know how much money you have to spend to get something for free, but eventually you get $15 off your order, so that's cool. All right, so last time I lied to you. I said I had no haul. I actually had 2 Garon Toten Bags Grime Guards, both 11 by 11, that had come in. One was the Grime Guard of the month. It's this one. It has butterflies. Can you see that? I'm not going to take it out of the package. I don't know why. I just haven't taken it out of the package yet. But it's really pretty. It's got butterflies, 11 by 11. And then I had ordered, of course, the kitty one. Kitty. Also 11 by 11. So I got, those were from last time. They were just in a different place. They weren't in my regular haul stuff. So I missed those. And then since then, I got, this is an 11 by 17. And I know that because they have started putting these tags on it. 11 by 17. Isn't that fantastic? Got around toting bags. And this is the kitties one. And thank you so much, Gary and Ronnie, for sending this to me. They sent this to me because I had ordered one. They are rightfully so teasing me. I had ordered one. 11 by 17. I thought they were cats. It clearly says dog on it. They're dogs. This is one of the giveaways that I'm going to do when we hit 1,000. So they sent me a cat one with a very sweet note about how these are cats, not dogs. Thank you. But I love Garon toting bags. If you haven't checked them out, they sell grime guards in 6x6, 8x8, 11x11, 11x17 sizes. They also sell project bags, which are lovely, wonderful. They sell through their Facebook group, so go ahead and check them out. I'll link them below. They are wonderful, and it's a wonderful Facebook group. I got Anchor Floss. So if you watched Jan Hicks, you probably saw her. She told me that she got this on Amazon, so I did as well. I think it was $8 for 12 skeins of Anchor black. It's just black. We both got this for the Farewell to Anger Sal coming up January 1. So I think I have all the floss now that I need for the Sal. And it's Anchor. I haven't used Anchor, but I've heard that it gives better coverage. The black and the white gives better coverage than the DMC, so that's why I'm using Anchor. I also got my October, issue. I guess it's October issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine, Autumn Stitching About. Now this isn't the Halloween issue. That comes later, I hope, because I haven't gotten that one yet. Oh yeah, October. So there's some cute stuff in there. I just enjoy reading through the magazines. The one I had marked a couple. Let's see, I have to cover this up because there's a pattern. First, look at that. Whoops, isn't that cute? You see that black cat? I just think that's precious. And then the other one I really liked is on the other side. This banner that has all the different houses. So that came in the mail, which is great. And then I had one. So, Victorian Motto Sampler Threads. If you are not following her, you need to go and follow her. I will link her blog below. She is so generous. She has giveaways all the time. This is now my second giveaway that I've won of hers. She is wonderful. And I won a pack of floss, whatever I wanted. She said, tell me the colors that you want and I'll send them to you. Well, I have DMC. I don't have a lot of stash of floss. I mostly just buy what I need for the project. So I had told her, my favorite color of all time is blue. I said, so whatever you want to give me, my favorite color of all time is blue. So she sent me, and this might be, she does have a blue set right now. So the sets would be $30. So I got cobalt blue. I mean, they're just stunning colors and a lot. I think they're 20 yards. I'm not going to go through each one of them because there's so many, but look at this, variegated. It's just so beautiful. Look at this. Look at that color. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. And then here's more of a green. I mean, mostly I like all colors. So I was debating between telling her pink or blue, but when it comes down to it, blue is my all-time favorite color of all time. All time. Okay, so that was my Victorian Motto Sampler Threads. I'll link her below. Go follow her blog. You can order her threads. You can order either through her eBay store or you can email her, and that information is on her blog as well. So the next thing I ordered was from Heaven and Earth Designs, again, gearing up for a Farewell to Anger Sal, and Jan says that she has a lot of people telling her that they want to join us, which is great. And I have a list of people who are going to join as well. So we are really excited. We're getting there. Heaven and Earth Designs sells samples of their fabric. So whatever fabric they sell, they will send you a sample. These samples were really inexpensive. They were about $1.50 each. Shipping and handling was about $7 for me. And I think that's just because, you know, it takes work to cut out a little tiny piece of fabric, and you're using supplies and all that. So this is just so that we can get a sense of what the different fabrics feel like. How are they going to stitch up? So this is Easy Count 25, Easy Guide 25 count. And it's a little bit floppy, which is nice. I just have to make sure I don't mix these up and get them out of the wrong bags. This is 28 count of the same fabric. And then this is Magic Guide. So this is the DMC based fabric. 25 count. They don't sell this in 28 count. And this is a grid of 20 by 20 instead of 10 by 10. Which I don't know how much that matters, but this is a bit stiffer. But I'm going to practice stitching these up, see what I like. I'll share that with you. And then this is a good way. It's kind of a small, you already know how much issue I have with fabric and indecisiveness and whatnot. So this is a good way to practice stitching up over 2, over 1, see what we like the best before we order a really big piece of fabric. From Heaven and Earth Designs. And of course, it got to me really, really quickly. Michelle is just wonderful at Heaven and Earth Designs. So if you are thinking of doing that sal with us, Farewell to Anger, go ahead and order some samples to see what you like if you aren't sure. In Beverly, this is where the pre-gridded fabric, this is what it looks like. So, okay, my desk is a mess. My desk is a mess. Okay, so we are on to giveaways. I'm going to move this. I'm not even working on that right now. Giveaways. So I had some giveaways. I hadn't heard from anybody else. I heard from Cynthia M., who won one of the magazines, the Swans, the Cross Stitcher magazine with the Swan kit. So that got sent out to you. So Cynthia, thank you very much for getting back to me. I redrew for the llama. So this is a llama kit. It comes with everything you need to make a little llama. You can make it a card, or you can just make it as a small. And it also comes with the Cross Stitcher magazine June 2019 issue. I redrew because I never heard from Jan. Never got her address. So I redrew, and the winner for this is Leslie Wilson. So Leslie, you won this. I will send it to you. Please email me at czooksstitch@gmail.com. It is listed in the description box below. But please email me your address, and I can get that sent out to you. And then I never heard, so I have some really old old giveaways that I never heard from the folks. And I looked for the list of other people who had said at the time that they wanted it, and I couldn't find it. So my apologies. I'm just going to rerun the giveaway. So the first one is Teach Yourself to Quilt, step-by-step instructions. It's where I taught myself to quilt. It has some writing and pen in it, so you can see the history of when I completed everything. It's hand quilting, so you quilt everything by hand. So there is those little markings in there. But other than that, it's in great condition. If you want to learn how to hand quilt, this is a great book. I'll send it anywhere in the world. Please be 18 so that you can send me your address. Don't say giveaway. And it say something about I'd like to quilt, or I'd like to learn how to quilt, something like that. So that is one giveaway. And then the other one is a book of minis for cross stitching. Oh, I guess it's called Quickies. So it's just a bunch of little mini. These would make great cards if you make cards. Look at that sweet kitty. I think I said that exact same thing last time. They make great cards. They make great, just little smalls, which are great. So you can say, I'd like to stitch the minis if you would like this book. Again, I'll ship it anywhere in the world that you are. So those are the two giveaways. I'll keep it open until my next video. Okay. Sows. Coming up, sows. We are in the midst of Cross Stitch Nation Sow, which for me is not going great. I have to laugh. It's just cross stitching, right? So it's no big deal. It's just a little frustrating and not being able to kind of pinpoint. Like, I don't know for sure it's the fabric I'm not liking. That's a guess. It's just frustrating. It's cursed. It's cursed. And I know it's cursed, but I have to get out of my head that it's cursed. Otherwise, I'll just keep making errors with it. But we are in Cross Stitch Nation Sal, so use hashtag Cross Stitch Nation Sal. Thursday, August 29th. So that is this Thursday. That is, 6 days away. We are going to be starting Long Dog. Our Long Dogs. Hashtag Long Dog Sal. Choose any long dog that you want to do. If you are in the middle of, I just dropped something on the floor. If you are in the middle of working on a long dog, please join us. There's really no rules. We'll start it together Thursday, August 29th, because that weekend in the U.S. is Labor Day weekend. So a lot of people have that Monday off, so we'll have an extra day to stitch. So it just makes sense. But you can join anytime. So some people, Teal, I know you had said you were going to be traveling that weekend. That's perfectly fine. Just join us whenever you can. And if you've already started your long dog and just want to share your progress with us, use hashtag LongDogSal. And I'll share it in Stitch Mania Facebook group, on our Instagram. I'll follow that hashtag on Instagram. But I really want to see your works. A lot of you are doing different ones that I have never heard of. I'm doing hoity-toity. But a lot of you are doing different ones I've never heard of. So I'm really excited to see kind of how they stitch up, and we can support each other. I've never done a long dog before, but they are some of my favorite designs. So we will see. And yes, I am keeping a list of names of who is doing the sow with us. So you're all on there. I'm showing it. Yeah, that's right. Ignore this. This was when I was teaching my friend Sam how to cross stitch. Okay. So you folks, yeah, I got a list. And if you want to join us, please join us. I don't know. I keep a list just to nag. My mother growing up had a thing she called her nag list. And it was a list of chores or things that we had to do. And it continued when we left home for college, where, it was like, get your flu shot. Make sure you check on this. And so we call it her nag list. And so I refer to this as my nag list. Just kidding. There's no rules. We're laid back, right? So that Long Dog Sal will be starting. Again, the Farewell to Anger will be starting January 1. So please join us for that as well. We are starting to kit things up, get things underway, so that we have enough time. We have plenty of time at this point, but you know how it goes once the holidays hit. I feel like after Labor Day, time just flies. I mean, time has been flying already. So my plans are to continue working on Stars Bright. So I need to get that done by January. My plan is to figure out what I'm going to do with Cross Stitch Nation Sal. I probably won't get much more work done on it, especially if I'm going to be reordering the fabric. And I'm just kind of beat down by it at this point. And then we'll be starting Hoity Toity in a week. So that is what my plans are coming up. I have no plans for Labor Day weekend. I am very much looking forward to so I work 4 10-hour days, so I always get Fridays off, so I always have a 3-day weekend. So Labor Day weekend will be a 4-day weekend for me, which I'm very excited about. And I'm very, very lucky to be able to do kind of that flexible schedule where I work 4 10-hour days. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be napping. I'm going to be probably doing housework, because we still have to do housework, and stitching on Hoity Toity. And I'm really excited, looking forward to that. Otherwise, everything's going well. We're going to have some really hot weather here in Portland. It's been a great summer so far in terms of heat-wise. It's been a regular summer, but we're going to be up in the mid to upper 90s this week. So keep us in your thoughts, guys. But fall will be here before we know it. Anyway, I'm babbling now, but thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so happy about the community that we have here. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful, if you're in the U.S., have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Stay safe. Get your last camping trips in, your last grill outs in. If you've already started school, about to start school, good luck to you. You've got this. And we'll talk soon in a couple weeks. Take care. Bye.